Hey Reddit, throwaway account here because my family doesn't know I'm posting this. It's a long story, but I'm finally ready to share. My name's Ava. I'm 28 years old, and I've spent the past 6 years pulling my dad's construction company back from the brink of bankruptcy and transforming it into a $150 million empire. Meanwhile, my older brother, Liam, has been, let's just say, enjoying the good life, no thanks to his trust fund. To understand the full story, you need some background. My dad, Mark, is a self-made man who built his construction business, SkyBuild Incorporated, from the ground up. He's always been my hero, but he's terrible with finances, and even worse at saying no to people. Liam, on the other hand, was always the golden child. Charming, popular, and spoiled rotten. Growing up, I was the quiet, nerdy one in the background, usually with my nose buried in a book or spreadsheet. By the time I graduated college, I had dreams of starting my own business. But life had other plans. When I came home one weekend, I found my dad sitting in his office, head in his hands. Turns out, SkyBuild was weeks away from going under. Dad had made some bad investments. He'd trusted the wrong people, and the construction market had tanked. On top of that, Liam had been bleeding the company dry with lavish business expenses that were more about funding yacht parties than actual work. My dad was too proud to ask for help, but I could see the desperation in his eyes. I couldn't just stand by. I'd always loved numbers, strategy, and problem solving, so I offered to step in. At first, my dad hesitated. He didn't want his little girl involved in his problems. But when I showed him my plan to restructure the company, complete with a detailed spreadsheet of where the money was going, he finally agreed. The first few months were brutal. I had to cut costs, lay off unproductive staff, and renegotiate contracts. Every decision felt like walking a tightrope. Some employees resented me, especially the ones who'd been taking advantage of my dad's kindness. Liam was furious when I cut off his company credit card. He called me a control freak and stormed out, saying I'd never understand how business really works. To make matters worse, I discovered a $500,000 debt that wasn't in the books. My dad had co-signed a loan for a friend who'd disappeared. It felt like every time I fixed one problem, two more popped up. Liam and I were never close, but this situation pushed us further apart. He resented me for taking charge, and I resented him for shirking responsibility. Our arguments became legendary. "You think you're so smart, Ava, but you don't have the charisma to run this company," he sneered one night after a particularly heated fight. What Liam didn't know was that I'd always looked up to him. As a kid, I wanted nothing more than his approval. Now, all I wanted was for him to step up and care about the family business. Around this time, I reconnected with my college professor, Dr. Whitman, who had always been my biggest cheerleader. I started calling her for advice late at night. She became my secret mentor, guiding me through tough decisions and reminding me to stay true to my vision. "Ava," she said once, "leadership isn't about being liked. It's about making the hard calls and earning respect over time." Her words stuck with me. Enter Ethan, a new hire in the accounting department. He was sharp, funny, and completely uninterested in office politics. We bonded over late nights at the office, crunching numbers and sharing takeout. At first, I tried to keep things professional, but there was an undeniable spark. Ethan became my rock during the chaos, always reminding me to take a break and breathe. The real turning point came 2 years into my journey. We landed a massive contract to build a state-of-the-art hospital. It was a make-or-break moment for SkyBuild. If we pulled it off, it would solidify our reputation and financial stability. If we failed, it would destroy us. The project was a nightmare. We faced delays, a labor strike, and supply chain issues. To make matters worse, Liam resurfaced with a tabloid scandal that threatened to tarnish the company's name. One night, after a 16-hour day, I broke down in the office. I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. That's when my dad walked in. For the first time, he apologized for putting me in this position. "You've done more for this company than I ever could, Ava," he said, his voice breaking. I'm so proud of you. Hearing that gave me the strength to keep going. I rallied the team, smoothed over the scandal, and found creative solutions to keep the project on track. When the hospital was finally completed, the client was so impressed that they gave us another multi-million-dollar contract. By the time I turned 28, SkyBuild was worth $150 million. My dad officially retired, handing the reins over to me. Liam? Well, he's still figuring things out. We're on better terms now. He even admitted that he underestimated me. Ethan and I got married last year. We're expecting our first child, and I've started mentoring young women in business, just like Dr. Whitman mentored me. Looking back, I'm grateful for the struggles. They taught me resilience, leadership, and the value of family, even when it's messy. Thanks for reading Reddit. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that success isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, doing the work, and believing in yourself even when others don't.